1-0.
Well, for Nathan Tassone, that'll be his first goal of the preseason, second point. Tails Jordan does exactly what the defenseman needs to do in this situation, eliminates any possibility of a pass across, leaving just the shot for Matthew Kaprowski to deal with, and it was a good shot to put up the Battalion 1-0.
So that goal comes with just a little over 3 minutes to go here in the first period, and it's 1-0 North Bay. That's Nathan Tassone. Opens the scoring. Now spinning is Verosian into the crease. Sprawled out was LaRocque as Owen Sound nearly answered right back. Here comes Sam Madofsky into the zone. Behind the net is Braden Rogers. Puck didn't settle for him right there. Owen Sound actually got credited with 2 shots there, so now they're up to 3. As through center ice, the Battalion backing it up and spun to the near side for Pazzi. Pazzi battling through a bit of a hook there from Nancy. Good puck work here by the Battalion. LeBlanc bracing for the check as he's taken up on the boards. Andrew LeBlanc keeping that puck pinned. Trying to help him out with Pazzi to get it loose. Amadovsky's there as well. And it's pushed ahead now by Gabe Smith. Got ahead of Rosian. Quick up now to Pazzi. He's got room. Takes a wrist shot. That one to the glove hand again on netminder Kaprowski. This one a little higher, and no mistake as he snaps the leather.
Well, Matthew Kaprowski likely going to be called upon probably a few more times this season than the backup goaltender was last season as they try to balance out that workload. Carter George, of course, will be the number 1 as soon as he arrives back from Los Angeles Kings training camp, where he's been doing very well, by the way. 1 game, a half game for him, 1 goal allowed. The next game, a half game for him, a shutout. So Carter George will be back, but Kaprowski is going to get some time in the cage for sure this season.
There's Van Steensel turning in the corner with it. Backhands it across. Risman had Bowie close in on him. Bowie pushing the puck ahead with his glove, trying to be the next to touch it. The Battalion do instead. Jake Crawford behind the net for Pierce Bowie. Over to Ethan Kindry. Kindry to the point for Arnott. Arnott takes a shot. It's in the skates. Found by Crawford. Can't get it away. Kindry. Petrovsky a wrist shot, and that one is denied here by the netminder LaRocque. And again, we get pushing and shoving. Now Jake Crawford and Laird. I think we're going to drop the gloves as Laird threw them down. But Crawford got pulled out by another Battalion player. And for both of them, that's probably okay because you'll get to stay in this game.
All of a sudden for Laird, he found himself without a dance partner there.
All right, let's go ice level right now. Spencer Byers, he's standing by. What do we got on deck for our first intermission?
Well, Mark, I'm going to get a chance to talk to the 3rd leading scorer last year with 80-plus points in Owen Van Steensel, and after that, we'll get a chance to look around the OHL. I'm not exactly sure if there are other games, and I believe there is one down in Saginaw, if I'm not mistaken, as well as you guys get a chance to pick your play of the period, which right now might be going all North Bay's way, as well as a period summary, Mark.
Lots coming up in the first intermission, as always. Thanks so much, Spencer. No penalties out of the pushing and shoving after the whistle there. So we stay 5-on-5 with a minute and a half remaining in the first period. Mikas getting some help from Gates. Tersini avoided the hit, but he lost his stick. Kennedy squeezed it. Nice play there by Tersini as he kicked it out into the slot for a near opportunity.
Some fine soccer skills.
The attack end up right at the side of their own net here. There's a shot by Amadovsky as he sniffed that puck out. Save made by Kaprowski. Point drive, that one wide. Kicked off the skate of the referee and popped right out in front. Now here goes Arnott as we're into the final minute of period 1. Just onside in the attack. We're changing here. Waddick stops up and now trying to get towards center ice, turns and found himself in a tough spot there. Trying to steal the puck away. We're the Battalion. They're going back deep into their own zone to get it with 30 seconds to go in the first. Coming towards center ice. Stolen by the attack. Here's McDonald on the spinorama, trying to get around Wilson, who just was able to grab on enough to break that up. Landon Hookie with a huge hit on Bronson Ride. And are they gonna go? Here we go. Landon Hookie and Bronson Ride. Two big boys about to dance. Who will grab on first? Hookie trying to bait Ride. Ride with the right hands. Hookie thought maybe lefts for a second. They're locked up, trying to get positioning. Hookie over top, went under, back on top, down to a knee, and Ride never threw a punch. And the officials are gonna break things up. Landon Hookie doesn't like that, but nonetheless, give him a little spark to the home side as their afternoons are done.
Definitely looked like Hookie did at least land one in that melee. I'm not sure if we'll have to go to the judges' cards, I believe, to declare a winner based on points, but a nice little preseason tussle between a couple of very, very big boys.
Bronson Ride, 6'7", as mentioned, 212 pounds. Landon Hookie comes into this season 6'5", 222 pounds, and very unlikely you're going to see a matchup much bigger than that this season in the OHL. 15 seconds left in the first period. So in preseason, if you get in a fight, that's an automatic game misconduct. Your game comes to an end at that point. For the battalion, they actually had 7 defensemen dressed here today. Here's a chance. Waddick a shot. He scores! Declan Waddick beats the buzzer here in the first, and the game is tied 1-1.
This is a guy that a lot of expectations are on him for this season. He's going to see a lot more ice time. You could kind of see bits and pieces of it on Wednesday night against Barrie, that his game is really coming together. And man, did he look good, scoring his second goal of the preseason here, picking up this loose puck in the slot and making no mistake. Just had enough space to get that wrister exactly where Declan Waddick wanted it.
So with 0.1 second left here in the first period, beating the buzzer was Declan Waddick, and the game is tied 1-1. So Landon Hookie probably feels like he should get an assist there, trying to wake up his team. And the game is tied through 20 minutes of play. Stick around, our first intermission is coming up next. Owen Van Steensel of the North Bay Battalion is scheduled to drop by. He'll be chatting with Spencer when we come back. 1-1 between the Attack and the Battalion. You're watching Owen Sound Attack Hockey on Rogers TV.
Every year, dozens of Canadians are killed or seriously injured because they take risks around railway tracks. Talk to your loved ones about rail safety. Visit stoptracktragedies.ca.
My daughter's been diagnosed with a rare illness. Every night, I lie awake, worried and scared. Your prayers have brought us so much peace and strength. You were there for us when we needed it most.
Get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. Join us every week for the most in-depth analysis, heated debates, and special guests. We give you action off the ice and off the field with all the drama and all the fun. Don't miss out on the sports talk show that's taking the game to a whole new level. Get your game face on and join us on RTV Sports Wrap.
Welcome to Central Westside United Church.
Welcome Welcome back here to the Bayshore Spencer Byers. And beside me is Owen Van Steensel. Owen, last year you had 86 points. You were third on the team in scoring. What do you have to do this year to be able to bring back last season's success?
I think just try to continue what I do best. You know, go out and do the little things right, and you get rewarded for it.
Obviously, you're without Dalen Wakely and Anthony Romani right now. Hopefully, they are back for you guys as they're at LHL camp. What kind of boost do you think they can give back to this team?
Yeah, a big boost, of course. Two great players, and they make the game easy out there for me.
Now, going into this game tonight, you're tied 1-1. You almost came out with a 1-0 lead, and then just beating the buzzer there was Declan Waddick. What did you make of your first period tonight?
Wasn't too bad. I like the speed. I mean, obviously it's tough, smaller rink. Took a little bit to get used to, but I think we get the emotions in check and come out strong. I think we'll be good.
Well, you also mentioned it's about a 4-hour drive from North Bay, 7:30 bus. Do you feel like the first period was a feeling out process for you guys because obviously the early start?
A little bit. I mean, we take care of a lot of that, off-ice warm-ups and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely getting used to the rink and stuff like that is a little bit of adjustment at the start.
I actually saw you guys warming up outside, so I know how extensive your guys' warm-up is. And my last question here for you is, with the next 40 minutes or so to go, what do you feel you guys have to do to come out with the win tonight?
Well, we got a lot of new guys, right? So we just want to do what we do best, kind of get the hang of things a little bit more, play fast and play skilled, and we'll do our thing.
All right, thank you so much, Owen Van Steensel, the North Bay Battalion. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll be right back with the rest of our first intermission, and we'll go upstairs and see you around the OHL with Mark and JC after this on Rogers TV.
Hi, I'm Vivica Gravel, Community Development Coordinator with the City of Owen Sound and the River District. And welcome to my River District. This is a show where every week we'll be here at Rogers Studios talking to you and talking to local businesses and people in the community about why they, as locals, love it here. They'll also share some stories about their businesses and how they can help you. So meet us here every week, Rogers TV, for the whole season of My River District.
Hi, I'm Tiffany James, the host of Her Story. Join us on Rogers TV as I interview various women in our community on how they found success in their own way.
October 5th, 2014, my daughter was hit by a train. She was walking along the sides of the tracks, and it shattered her world.
Hi, I'm Ian Taylor, Director of Hockey Development at Ontario Minor Hockey. Today we're going to talk about speed with the puck.
The most important thing to remember is to eliminate unnecessary stick handling and underhandle the puck. This is an open ice or breakaway technique where the player pushes the puck with one hand on the stick in order to skate at full speed. The puck should be out in front of the body and off to the side. Push the puck ahead on the backhand with the bottom edge of the stick blade. The stick hand extends at the elbow and pushes the puck forward. The hands stay out of the area in front of the hips, and this allows for long, powerful strides. Underhandling is a key skill to maintain speed and allows the player to keep their eyes up and to read the play around them.
Check out more Chalk Talk episodes on Rogers TV and more drills and resources at omha.net.
Very good.
Back down here, ice level at the J.D. MacArthur Arena. We'll now go upstairs to J.C. Coots and Mark McKelvey for what they saw during that first period.
Thank you very much, Spencer. A good Sunday afternoon, everybody. Mark McKelvey and J.C. Coots. And J.C., on this Sunday afternoon, I thought the start of this game came with a lot of intensity, and both teams were really flying out there. One thing was lacking was offense. We ended up getting a couple goals later in the period, but I think what we saw in that first period could really be what we're going to see a lot this season from the Owen Sound attack, at least from my point of view, is they're going to battle. Going to have to really work for goals, but they're going to battle.
They are going to battle, and they're going to make you earn points if you're going to beat them, especially here inside the Bayshore. I mean, one of the things that was pointed out earlier today during the town hall is that there just doesn't seem to be that intensity. Teams don't seem to be scared to come into the Bayshore anymore. So that's one thing that they want to change. Scott Ray and this team, the North Bay Battalion, already know what he brings to the table, especially in terms of accountability and work ethic. The Owen Sound Attacker now showing that those lessons are being learned very quickly. The message is getting heard. It's only going to get better. Obviously, throughout this preseason, we're looking at two teams that have come in here. Barrie on Wednesday, North Bay today. They're going to be very, very different teams when they get their NHL guys back. There aren't as many jobs to be won on these teams, so they're going to be a big improvement. Not as many guys coming back to the Owen Sound Attack, so we're pretty close to the version of the team we're going to have. This is kind of the final look for the coaching staff to try guys in situations, test out new line, new combinations, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, you've got guys that you don't really know who they are because they didn't get a lot of ice time last year, so it's almost like new players, even though they were here all of last year.
Well, as this afternoon rolls along, I think it's probably good if we maybe touch on each position of this team. Let's first start with the goaltending, and really the goaltending was the one area where there was no question marks coming into the season because you've got Carter George coming back, second round pick of the LA Kings, has already signed his entry-level contract. He's away in California at camp right now, and we're getting a more extended look at Matthew Kaprowski. I guess that was the lone question mark, was what will Kaprowski bring? How many games is he going to play? What do you think is realistic for what we'll see from Matthew Kaprowski this season?
Well, I mean, last year he kind of showed, based on the few times we got to see him up here in Owen Sound, that he can handle the Ontario Hockey League game. He's fast enough and quick enough to play and look just as good as Carter George. They've also got a new goaltending coach here this season as well. They've always had luck when it comes to drafting goaltenders for the Attack, always had some really good goaltending coaching throughout the years, and this year it sounds like it's going to be no exception. Now with Carter George, obviously we can't give him the workload that he got last year, and now you've got an NHL team with their hand in the cookie jar too that has probably got some feedback and probably saying, hey, maybe don't play him as much, or maybe don't put him into this situation after he's just come off of a bad beat or after a close game. So with that in mind, at least you know that you've got a guy behind him that's really good and ready for the challenge.
Well, I'm excited to see what we'll get from Matthew Kaprowski because unlike a lot of backup goaltenders to a real star number one, there's a good chance he's going to play a lot of hockey this year. To the points you mentioned, World Juniors could be on the radar for Carter George. So I think Matthew Kaprowski's going to get a good chance to develop, and it's pretty nice when you get a chance to play behind a player like Carter George. We'll talk about the D a little later in the forwards as well, but we'll take a timeout at this time. And when we come back, we'll check out our play of the period, the scoring summary, and get a few more thoughts as we head towards period number 2. The Owen Sound Attack, North Bay Battalion, all squared up, 1-1 the score. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the OHL on Rogers TV.
Welcome to Central Westside United Church.
My husband has been going through a very hard time and has literally said several times, I wish there was someone I could call to pray with. Today I saw a prayer number at the bottom of your YouTube video and it hits me. I clicked this video for a reason.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the set of Attack Wrap. I'm your host this year, Nick Kennedy. This coming episode, we've got new head coach Scott Ray joining us here on the program where we're going to break down the upcoming year and the last 2 exhibition games. So make sure you tune in here on Rogers TV for all your attack action.
Welcome back here to the Bay Shore, and we'll get a chance to look at what is the choice for the play of the period. You had a fight, a couple of goals, so let's go up the stairs to the guys who get a chance to make that choice. JC Coots and Mark McKelvey.
So yeah, that tilt late in the first period between Bronson Ride and Landon Hookie came after a big hit that Hookie threw on Ride. Both big boys, and they decide to go at it, veterans in this league. And like we were saying, maybe Landon Hookie feels like he might have helped at least provide some good vibes, some good mojo for the attack as they score on the ensuing shift, and that's what gets us to a 1-1 score. Let's take a look at the scoring summary, but the offense was not really there for the Owen Sound attack early in this game. For the North Bay Battalion, they were able to strike first, but it did take them a bit of time.
Yeah, and it took him the first 15 minutes for the attack to get more than just one shot on goal, which doesn't obviously help in a situation like this, but it was Tashome who got the scoring going for the attack, taking that long pass. He was coming down the wing, a 2-on-1 situation that was well played by Tels Jordan, but ended up in the back of the net, just beating the goaltender Kaprowski. Declan Waddick, though, with the buzzer beater. The attack desperately needed that. You could see it on the face of Landon Hookie when he skated by the bench, trying to fire up. Not a lot of people in the Bay Shore today to come to their feet and get fired up, but it's just the connection with the teammates. And yes, it's preseason, but these early moments establishing that, the team building that's happening right now, and the team was out yesterday, out on a road trip together. It's so critical to get it done early, and it seems to be working.
Absolutely. You want to really galvanize your group, and something like that will certainly do it. We'll see how the second period starts with the attack maybe having that momentum from the buzzer beater goal. But our play of the period, it's the first goal of the game, and that one was scored by Nathan Tashome, and just a perfectly placed shot here.
It really is. Tels Jordan does exactly what he needs to do. He anticipates that he wants to take that pass away, which he does. He's going to find himself in a lot of high leverage situations this year for the attack, now that he's pretty much your biggest guy back on the point now. And unfortunately for Matthew Kaprowski, this is just a well-placed shot that finds the back of the net. Not a lot that he could have done on it.
What I liked was maybe the shift later, or 2 shifts later, another chance like that was presented for the battalion. Similar shot, and Kaprowski made the glove save, so a good bounce back. Thought he looked solid in that first, making 10 saves. All right, we'll take one final timeout here in our first intermission. Period number 2 is on the horizon. Don't go anywhere. The attack and the battalion are tied 1-1 here today on Rogers TV.
Since I retired, I've been struggling with loneliness. Some days it feels like the walls are closing in. But with your prayers, I don't feel alone anymore. You were there for me in the middle of the night when no one else was around.
Is this some kind of Canadian joke, sir? I mean, I know you're the instructor and everything, but we can't carry the ball. How can we get a decent shot at the peach basket?
All right. Maybe we can allow a carry of a couple of steps.
And Mr. Naismith, sir, it sure slows things down having to climb up here every time.
Well, then let's cut the bottom out of the basket.
Ah, but I need these baskets back.
100 years after James Naismith from Almont, Ontario invented it, basketball was being played by hundreds of millions of people around the world.
Hi, I'm Vivica Gravel, Community Development Coordinator with the City of Owen Sound and the River District, and welcome to My River District. This is a show where every week we'll be here at Rogers Studios talking to you and talking to local businesses and people in the community about why they, as locals, love it here. They'll also share some stories about their businesses and how they can help you. So meet us here every week, Rogers TV, for the whole season of My River District.
And welcome back inside the Harry Lumley Bayshore Community Center. Final preseason contest for the Owen Sound Attack and the North Bay Battalion. They're tied up 1-1 as we're getting set for period number 2. Mark McKelvey and JC Coots up here in the broadcast booth. And JC, these teams met already once in the preseason, a game that went to a shootout with the Battalion coming out on top. And it's funny, they played twice in the preseason and only twice in the regular season, so any sort of rivalry that builds here doesn't really get lit up too much in the regular season.
No, and that's probably a good thing, especially now that you've got some coaching staff on the Owen Sound Attack from North Bay. So the minimal amount of meetings, the better, I think, for these two teams that seem to like to share resources.
Second period begins, 5-on-5 hockey. Laird gets it for the Battalion, goes up the middle looking for Terrian. This one goes right on net, and Kaprowski's got no other option but to smother the puck as Matthew Kaprowski made 10 saves in the first period of play, and over the course of the preseason, his numbers have looked pretty good. I know it's a small sample size, but coming into today, he had the best goals against average and best save percentage of any goaltender that had the minimum minutes, which isn't a huge amount of numbers at this point, but the numbers have been real good.
Well, I think the one thing that we talked about as a broadcast team most last season was the amount of shots the opposing teams got when they came here, and it was typically over 40. I think we're going to see a big improvement on that this season already with the defensive accountability that Scott Ray and his new assistants are talking about, and that should just make things a little bit easier for Carter George and Matthew Kaprowski.
Here's a chance for James Petrovsky, a point shot that went off a skate, didn't get on goal. Petrovsky can't hold it in as it got knocked by him, and it goes back down the ice. The entirely new coaching staff this year for the Owen Sound Attack, led by Scott Ray. On his bench, he's flanked by Brandon Shaw and Regan O'Grady. Arnott taking his time. Pass over to Micus. Arnott got hit as the puck was in the neutral zone. Poked over the blue line for Kindry. Nice drop for Bruce McDonald. McDonald trying to pass it back out for one of his line mates, but can't make the pass through, and it goes all the way back into the Owen Sound end. James Petrovsky tails Jordan on the spin. Moves it over to Bruce McDonald. As McDonald busts in across the blue line, drop pass, split couple of his teammates. Jordan got it, let a wrister go. Missed the target. Kept in here by Kindry. McDonald can't get around LeBlanc. It's out to center ice, and Teos Jordan's going to shoot it back in. Bruce McDonald behind the net. Hopped over the stick of Kindry. Good hustle by Waddick to get to it. Here's a point shot by Rogers. Blocked in front. The puck's sitting there just outside the blue paint, and the Battalion are going to clear it out of harm's way. Rogers with Pazzi on him. Battalion changing. They got too many men on the ice there. Tough play when it comes right to you. And Owen Sound's going to the power play.
Yeah, Enright is hanging his head a little bit there because he knew, exactly. It came right to him. He didn't have much of a choice as the one Battalion player had stepped on the ice, so too many men to call here. Attack go back to the power play. They had a brief power play earlier in the first, weren't able to do anything on that 13-second power play, but they are a team that in the preseason does have 2 goals on 11 chances for an 18.2 percentage power play that ranks 12th in the preseason.
And they win the face-off. The last power play was only 13 seconds before they took a penalty. Here's Nancy protecting it as he moves it out to McDonald. McDonald, top of the left circle, passing it across. One-timer, and Verosian just missed it on the short side. Nice setup there by Bruce McDonald to thread the needle cross ice. Verosian, what a big hit behind the net there as he knocked down his man Kennedy, who's been on the receiving end of a couple big hits here. Short-handed chance, though, for the Battalion. Here comes Smith with a shot. Kaprowski the save. He's not sure where it is as it lands in the corner. Verosian in the corner. He's trying to work it free off the side of his own net. Short-handed chance. Kaprowski the save. Carey tried to go underneath him there as he got that great opportunity out of nowhere.
Going back to the opportunity the attack had on this power play with Vorosian just a few minutes ago. We started to see this last game on the power play where the attacker still trying to find that low man that's open for that one-time opportunity. Of course, last year, that was Colby Barlow's spot. He was brilliant in there with that quick release. Last game, they were testing out Declan Waddick in that role. Today, it was Vorosian, and you saw the Russian import with a nice release there. Didn't hit the mark, but could be using him a little bit more often.
Still a minute to go in the attack power play. There's James Petrovsky. Stops up as they try to get established here in the O-zone.